Alright everybody, it's QW with Artisan and Glimmith, and I am excited today because I'm going to finish the game. And I'm excited because that means I can finally just uninstall it and never think about it again. That is what I'm hoping for. But I got two puzzles left. They're probably going to be good. I imagine they're going to be good, so we're going to give it a shot. This one's a bit of an eyesore, but I think it's going to be interesting because I tend to like these rules. So I need to make a bunch of sixers with rose windows, and this looks like it will take fucking forever. There's no rule on how the shape of the sixes go. There's no mismatch. There's none of that kind of stuff. So I just got to make a bunch of them. Looks like I've got to block all of these in. So we're gonna have to do a lot of thinking here. Where do we start with something like this? These edges that I drew the walls on seem like places we can start because it kind of forces this piece to do something, but not much. Like I can take this piece and move it all the way down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Well, hold on. I'm going to do just a tiny bit of math here. So we got 192 spaces, right? So 6 goes into 192 32 times. So I need to make 32 regions of 6. Well, the thing about this is there's only 5 rose window symbols. So we got the circle, the triangle, the square, the diamond, and the hexagon. So that means every single one of these sixers is also going to have to take a blank spot. So I'm going to guess there's 32. I'm not going to count them because that would be tedious. And there's far too many puzzles in this game that expect you to by hand count a bunch of tedious stuff in order to figure the puzzle out. That's really annoying. We're not going to do that. We're just going to make the assumption here, which means there must be a wall here. Not there. Here. Because we can't have two blank spaces in the same region, because then it would be a 7 region. So this piece here could take those, but at the same time I could also take these. Or these. Or these. Oh dear, well I can't take this. I'd have to do it that way. Oh, hold on, that's blocked as well. That's blocked. So, I am wondering if there's something important about this space here. Because if we go around this circle here, every single space where the outer area could intersect with the inner ring, I have to put a wall because it's the same symbol. And this, we can't have a thing with the same. But this one doesn't. So if I did this right here, 88, 6 goes into 88. Yeah, that's it. Found it. That's a really clever break-in. All right, so 6 goes into 88. It would be 14 and 2/3, right? 14 remainder 4. 6 times 10 is 60. The left over there is 28. 6 goes into 24 4 times, and there's a remainder 4. So 14 with a remainder 4, meaning if I put a wall here, I'll never solve the puzzle, which means that this square needs to exit here. And in fact, because remainder 4, I need to take one more space. Exactly one more. Because I'm just going to imagine this is the space. I take exactly one more space and let me fill this in. Doesn't matter what I fill in. I now have 84, and 6 goes into 84 an exact amount of times. So therefore, this is exactly how we start this puzzle. I like when that's the way you break into something. I've never broken into a puzzle this way. It's not like, I'm gonna go back out so I can show you the shit I hate. It's not like this, where it's the same fucking thing 400 times in this game. All of them could be cut and nothing would be lost. Every single puzzle starts and ends the same way. This is something new. I haven't done this before. I like that. All right. So that means I have to take that, and I have to take exactly 2 more pieces. It will, in fact, be this shape that I just threw out. This is how the puzzle starts. And now it's basically 2 puzzles, because this inner ring is not going to affect the outer ring at all. and the outer ring won't affect the inner ring. So I'm going to start here because it's here. So I've got this piece 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to have to take these two here, right? Because I'm still missing the diamond and the triangle. This would be a mistake because now that's done. So this is a region. Now, 1, 2, 3. I need to take this because I have to take a blank spot. Now I need a square and a diamond. So if I take this diamond, I take that square. If I take this diamond, I can take either square. But can I? I can't ever put these two together? No, I can. Actually, hold on. If I imagine this happening, this piece going like this, I think I have some trouble here because now these need to go. So I'd have to come... I don't think I could make this work. If this is the blue piece, right? Like if I take this diamond at all, then I have to take that square because otherwise it's an orphan cell. Which means that this is its own region, has to come up, takes that square. This is its own region, comes up. Now these regions can't connect to each other because they'd have two squares and no blank spaces. So this one must take the blank space here, and it can't be like that. So it has to take it like this, which means this region has to be here. But then I can't make that work. So no, it takes that one. So regardless, this piece has to come out here, and it can't touch that. It has to touch here. So the question is which... it's not going to touch this square because then we have a problem. So that's the yellow region, that's the blue region, and I'm going to make a nice teal region here, which is basically green. If this out, we're going to have to take that piece and these two. Because if I take this one here, we're going to have an empty spot. So we got to take that one. And because this is working so far, I'm just going to assume I'm on the right track. I know assuming is never the right way to go, but like most puzzles, and in fact, I would say good puzzles, if you're on a roll, you've done it right. If there's a puzzle where you can make a mistake early and then almost solve the puzzle, and then you have to backtrack to the whole thing again, that's really annoying. I hate that shit. But it doesn't happen very often in this game. This game makes a lot of very bad mistakes that make me hate the game genuinely, but that is not one of the mistakes it makes. And I mean, I genuinely hate the game because there's good puzzles like this in it. The game should either be good with good puzzles or bad with bad puzzles, but it's bad with good puzzles, and that makes me angry because it could have been good with good puzzles. We're going to throw this down. So I've got to reach a blank space. Every single one of these regions needs all 5 symbols and 1 blank space. And the blank space, it can't reach that because it's going to break the puzzle in so many ways. It's just bad. So it's got to be that one, which means it's also got to take that. So there we go. That is the space. This one here has got to come out, and it can't reach this blank space because it'll end up with orphaning these cells. So it's got to take that one, and that one. Now here we're going to have to do 1, 2, 3, something that's slightly different color. It's easier to see this distinguishing. 4, 5, 6. And then, yeah, this is how we do this spy. When I was looking at this in the beginning of the puzzle going, I wonder what happens here. So now if we're in 3, 4, 5, 6, we actually know that this piece right here is going to have to touch that spot. So 1, 2, 3. I can't touch this, so I have to go this direction. And then it's either that or that, but I'm not entirely sure which. Okay, let's hold up here and go around this side. No, I don't think going around this side is going to help. I think I got to go all the way around here. If I do this piece here, this is the most restrictive because now I need to do something in this area. 1, 2. And I would need to, this region here can't reach an empty because the only empty you can reach is that one. So I think I got to do it this way so that the regions in here, whatever this region is, needs to come down this direction because we can't touch this piece. So even if it grabs that, it can't do that. And it can't grab that piece, so it's got to go this way. So that is how this goes. Which means whatever's in here... Oh no, this isn't going to work. Oh, no, this exactly works. Sorry, I was just like, hold on. I don't have enough pieces, but I do. I have this exact thing. And then we have a piece in here that moves in like so, and then this moves in, and we're good. So now over this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I need no squares, so that's done. So the only problem with this puzzle, I actually quite like this one. The only problem so far is the entire mental load took place right here. I figured that bit out, and that's it. The rest of this puzzle is kind of falling like dominoes. So we have what I talked about last time. We have this, which is not good. As brilliant as this break-in is, now I have still, 20 more minutes of puzzle, which isn't nearly as exciting as the break-in. So my excitement for this puzzle is starting to wear off, right? I'm starting to go to, oh, it's just a mundane thing. My final memory of this puzzle will be doing something that's not interesting versus the interesting bit at the beginning. And like, again, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's just that is less interesting than solving a puzzle a different way. Or if it was a puzzle where I needed to do that math, the puzzle should be a lot smaller. So I get through the puzzle faster before my excitement wears off, right? Making this giant puzzle, the size of this puzzle is not really helpful. The size of it just kind of frightens you at the beginning. But once you solve this bit, it's very, very easy. And yeah, that's kind of disappointing, to be honest. So this comes out, and I've got a couple options here. I need 3 regions in this area. So I think I got to do some thinking here. If I were to take this, let's suppose I didn't take this blank space. I'd have to take this one, which would force me here. Right? If I don't take this blank space, we're going to say that's another color. That means we can't go there. We can't go there, so we go here, and now there's no way to get to a diamond. So we have to take this. That takes care of that. Can't take this piece. If we head this direction, we have another blank space, which is bad. So no matter what, we got to go in through here. Can't take that, or that, so we have to take these pieces. And yeah, so far so good. We're going to take this out here. It's going to grab... I believe we're going to grab this, because if we don't, if we say this is a new color, it's got to come up, and now... Yeah, we can't go in there, so we would be stuck. We don't have a purple one we can take. Is that right? So we got to take these, and then the last piece is here. I'm going to make this orange, and I'm going to make this there. So that's the outer ring done. Now the inner ring looks a little bit more challenging to create because we can't start with this narrow band that makes it super, super easy. But I think I can do something here. This blank space. Now we can't touch that one, so I've got to get that circle or that circle. Getting this circle could be as easy as going that way. This could be a possibility, and then we just come out that way. If we take the circle, if we take that circle, right, we have to come... no, we can't take this circle because then we can't take that space. We have 2 blank spaces in the same region. We have to do this crazy-ass bullshit. So it's got to be this one. Now, I can't take that space, and I can't go around. So it does, in fact, take this purple. So this purple now needs to move here. Needs to take that blank space and go up because we're going to be trapped in this area. So now this green, we can't take that. So this green can't get down here. So the purple will take it. Purple will also take the square. So it's a question of just which ones of these do we take? I can't take this diamond because then I have to take this one. So that's yeah, the guess was right. The guess was right. That's that. This empty space here has to take a circle. There's a couple options, but it can't take that spot. To take this circle, though, we can't go through here. We can't go around the top because we touch another circle. We'd have to go through this square, but then we wouldn't be able to touch that square, which would be another region that's now trapped. So this is where the cyan piece goes, which means it goes through all of these. It can't take that or that, and it's got to take that. That's got to be the region. Whatever goes here now has to take that empty space because it can't reach any of the other ones. We can't take a purple, so if we take that, that's the end of that. I just need triangle, diamond, and actually the only diamond I can take is that one, so I can't take that. Triangle and circle. I need that triangle. So which circle do I take? Whatever the case, I know for sure you got to have a new region there. But if I take this circle here, I'm going to force... Oh, this will break it. If I don't take this circle with blue, if I block it off, right, I've got to go here. Now, I can't take this space because I already have a blank space, so I have to take exactly 2 more pieces, triangle and circle. But now that's an orphan cell. So I've got to take that circle. That's the piece here. We got to block that, which means we do have to take this diamond and this square. Can't take that. That's the triangle. We're good. This piece right here, we've got to take... we're going to take that with it, which means we're going to take those 4. Now, if I take this square, we're trapped because I can't get to a circle, so we got to block that. Take these or those. Who knows what the answer is there? We'll find out. This comes out, and it's going to have to take that, which means it has to take all of these to avoid orphan cells. Over here, 1, 2. We could take this circle. We're going to take that spot here. So we're going to take this one. Yeah, is there any way we take any other hexagon? No, the other hexagon's down here. We'd have to do this, which is just not going to happen ever with anything. So we can't take that. So the only... We can't... Oh, we can take that circle to take that one. Can't take this triangle. Oh, yeah, this is the only way we get to a square. So that's that. Now, over here, we've got to take... Hold on, let's make this yellow. A little easier. This piece has to go here. We just have to take all of those. We can't take a triangle, so it's solved. This piece got to come out. And then, does it take that space? Well, either way, it can't. If it takes this, it can't take that. So, how about up here? I'm going to take this regular blue. This goes out, and then it's going to touch this normal piece here. No. It's going to touch... Oh, I see. That's what we're going to do. So this needs a square, which is that one. This piece now is going to be orange. We're going to take that out. That's just what it has to be. Let's do a teal here. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I take the square, I can't go any further. That's the square. So does it take that or that? That's the question. If I take this space, I've got a forced... I think this is bad. Yeah, this is bad. I can't do this. The reason I can't do this is now, what is this empty space? This empty space has to take those 4, and I need 2 more pieces, and I can't reach these 2. So, this has to go here. We've got to take... This one's got to take this square, which means we have to take that. This is it. Cool. So, like, yes, good puzzle, or at least not bad. It's entertaining, and the break-in is incredibly genius, if that's what we're supposed to do. And I'm pretty sure that's how you're supposed to find where to start. And I feel lucky to have found it as quickly as I did, which means the puzzle was only done in like 15 minutes instead of an hour. But it was, again, this difficulty curve. The hardest move was at the very beginning, and the rest of the puzzle was kind of there. So by the end of it, it wasn't so tedious that I hated it, but I didn't feel at the end of the puzzle as good as I felt at the beginning. And just human psychology, my most formative memory of the game is going to be the last moment, which is also why I've chosen to play the game the way I have, because even though I do not think this is a good game, I'm having a better time now than I did 50 videos ago, which means that my lasting memory will be better than it should be, and that's what I want. I want that lasting memory to be better. I don't want to be questioning my life choices. If I had played the game a different way, I might be feeling differently. But that means with a puzzle like this, I don't feel as good about it as I should, because this beautiful moment here was the only beautiful moment. It was right at the beginning, and then I still had 10, 15 more minutes left of tedious bullshit to do, right? That's my issue with that. Here we go. The last puzzle in the game. I think it's going to be good. It looks like it's going to be good. So the question is, will it be good? All right, so we've got a cross shape here. This cross shape is, well, Well, it can't ever go left, so I think it's got to be that. Is that right? Is there any other way? Yeah, there's no other way. There's no other way. This is the cross shape. So that's a break-in you can do. See, this one, the first move I just made, this one did not take a lot of brain power. And I imagine the rest of the puzzle will take more. That's what I want, because we're starting, if we have our baseline difficulty, we're starting here, we can only go up. That's what I want. The other puzzle started high and went down. So now we've got a piece in here. This piece is either 1, 2, 3, 4. It's either going to be an L shape or a C shape. Either one is fine. Think about an L shape now. How am I going to make this bad boy? So I can do that. Can't do that. That's an orphan cell. I can't bring it up here. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I'm looking at it, not only what shape can I make, but how do I make it so there's only 5 things left here. So if I do this, I have a P shape. If I do this, I have an F shape. Only problem is this is uniqueness. I now have 2 solutions to the puzzle. So is there another way I can do this? Is there another? How do I make this not go? This is one way. This is one. This can't go here. So every S piece exists in a 3x3 box. You take 2 corners and not their two opposite corners, and then a line across. So this has to be a corner, yeah, one of the corners of the piece, because if it's part of the line, right, then you have to have a corner outside this region. So it's a corner. So either we have to take those 2, which is going to cause a problem. Well, it wouldn't cause a problem. If we do this, we have to go this way. But we can't take that corner because it will be part of this piece, unless I've misread how to do this cross. But again, the cross, we're either a point on the edge or we're the center. Center doesn't work because we can't go left. If we're the point on the right, we have to move left again. If we're the point below or above, we have to move left. So this has to be the left point. So this S needs to go down here. I think it's not a uniqueness problem, because I can do this or I can do that. The question is going to be what goes here. So if I make this an L with an F piece, this piece is restricted. If somehow I'm forced to make an L piece move up at all in this region, we'll know for sure what this is. So that means these pieces also go together. So the question, do we have P or do we have F? Do we have L? Do we have C? So this S is here. That means this S can't ever move up. Once again, we have the question of that. So can I go this way? No, of course not. I'm going to have to go that way. So the piece that's in here is set. That's an N. And now this Y is also set. This Y, a little trickier. It's that. Right? The Y shape, you're either part of the stick or part of the nub. Part of the shaft or part of the head. So, if this is the shaft, it has to go sideways. Either here, blocking that, making orphan cells, or here, making orphan cells there. So no, it's the nub, which means it comes down here. It's either this way or that way. This way leaves 4 cells instead of 5, so it's here. That leaves some P shapes, which is great. Means this P shape can't move that direction. So whatever's here is going to come out. The P shape. This is not a possibility to be next to another one. Mingle shape is in effect. We can't do that. So this is a possibility. This is a possibility. This is a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities. Could I ever... I can't ever do that. Could I ever put a wall here? No. So this has to be there. There's a wall here. Is there? Yeah, this ain't gonna work. So this is an effect. Whatever's here has to move down, because we can't do this. Because if it's part of that, these can't touch. We have a problem. So this is an effect, and that's all I can say about that. This piece has to come out. This T shape is interesting. So we're either part of the base or the shaft. So if this is part of the shaft, unfortunately I can't go this way because then we're up and down, right? This I think is part of the base. If it's part of the shaft, it goes up. So base could be here? No. Can't be like this. It could be like that. Not 100% sure on the T. Another T there. This is here. It's N. I feel like I should know from this point. Oh, hold on. Let me think about this. If I put... I just noticed this I shape. If I move this up and down, I block in a space that's going to have 4 pieces. Can I ever make these work? Right? Because this F piece will always create an orphan cell, won't it? Unless I do that. This arrangement forces this, which forces that, right? That's possible. Okay, I can do it. I was thinking I'd break it if I do that. Because otherwise I go this way, and then I either take that space or that space, which is fine. Alright, never mind. Thought I saw something as I was looking up this direction. So, in here, the T shapes. Let me just think of it as like the different rotations. We can make it a T, we can make it upside down, we can make it sideways. So think about making it a straight up T like this. The only way to do that in this spot is this way, and we were taking out with another space. So that's out. Now to do it with this one, it can't be the leftmost edge of the T because we go off the edge. Can't be the center because then we have a 4. Can't be the rightmost edge because now we have 6 spaces in here. It won't ever be filled. So that is also not true. Now it can't be this shaped T because this is the bottom of it. It can't go down any lower. So that means we have to go up like so, which isn't going to work. So yes, it is in fact this shape, and it is in fact like that. I think that's just got to be it. I don't feel like I know for sure, but I don't see any other way. So that's that. Now this T is the same deal. Either it's shaped up here, which is a problem, or it's down. It can't be like that. It would have to be like this, which is possible. If it is, it can't face that way. It would have to face this way, which is also possible. No, it's not. This doesn't work. Here's why. If I put this T shape here, then we have to think about what goes in here. Well, this would become a V shape. So this piece now has to take that space and those two, and we have T's touching each other all day. So this one is like so, which means we don't have a V shape here because then we would still have a V shape there. So this has to be an N shape, I think. This piece could take, but then we would have that, we'd have a problem. So we actually can't do that. We have to go here. We have to make this the V shape, which means that's got to take those, either that one or that one. If I take this one, think with the N shape. This won't work. This will work. This won't work. This won't work. So yeah, it's here. Here. Oops. And now I need to do this, or that, or that. No, it won't be that. I've got to take this space. If I don't take that space, we're in trouble. So I've got to take that space, I've got to move up. Here makes 2 P's, here breaks us, here's the only way it works. The trouble with this now is this W here can't move up, and that's all I know. So this W something? Well, if I start by going down, I'd have to take those spots, which is possible. Is there any way I don't go left? No, because then I have that shape. So I do have to move left. I can't move down because then it's going to force that shape. So I have to move left and up, which means I have to take these 4 at least. So I can either take that shape or that shape. This has to be a different region that comes up. And it can't connect to this one. We've got a lot of the same region in this space. So if I move down, then this is one option, which is fine. It doesn't break anything yet. If I move down, the other option is here, which breaks this puzzle because you have something next to it. So if I move down, we have that. If I don't move down, I can do this just fine because nothing says we got to have one per symbol. If I don't move down, this also works? No. This doesn't work because now what does this do? It's got to be that. So if I move it like this... Oh, hold on. Let me just think about this one. This piece here. We can't go like that. We can't go like... We can do this or that. But if I don't connect there, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. This is a problem. No, that's not a problem. Well, there's too many possibilities here. I'm not really thinking straight. This one might be... If I don't move right... Well, if I move to the right from here, I got to move all the way to the right, which is doable. No, this is not. If I move all the way to the right, now I got 10 down here. I'd have to do this, and I'd have to put 2 pieces down here, which are going to be... Oh... It's going to be... To put 2 pieces in this space, they both have to be the same piece. Either 2 I's, 2 P's, or 2 L's. That's all you can do. Right? Because this isn't going to work. Right? So I'd have to do some trickiness, like this isn't going to work either, as 2 L's, and then this isn't going to work, and there's no other arrangement. So no, this is not how it's going to go. I can't bring this here. Now there's 8. I can't do 8 spaces because now there's 7. Still can't do it. So this won't move to the right from here. So I can do this. Nah, I can't bring this down all the way because now that's a P shape. No, I can bring that down and then that's an N shape. Yeah, it's an N shape, which is fine. So that is doable. This is doable because we just bring this down. No, because then we have 12. So if I don't have a wall, or if I have a wall here, if I don't move down at all, I have to make that shape. And that causes a problem. So, oops. That means I have to move down at least 1 space. If I move up a space like this, we have 7. That doesn't work. If I think it has to be this, right? Because if I can't, this is the only way it works out. And then I have to bring this down so I avoid a P shape down here. And then this one is either an N or a W. It's not a W, it's next to a W. This is an N shape, like that. So this shape's got to come out and has to take this cell right here. Because if it doesn't take the cell right there, we have a W shape. So it's got to take that cell. It's either C, an L, or an F. There's quite a lot of options. This L... I still feel like I could figure something out with that. How about this C shape? So this C shape, it can't be a backwards C because it'll always have an orphan cell. It can be a forwards, it can be something like this. It can't be in this spot because then this is a problem. It would have to be up a space here. This actually would solve this region entirely. This particular C shape would do it. Here's how you would solve it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the question is this correct? I don't know. I'm going to see if I can solve it a second way, because if I can solve it a second way, then it's a question of what's up here. Because what I just did by putting the I shape here forces the I shape up, which I've already seen can solve the puzzle. But I need to make sure if it doesn't, if the I shape needs to go this way, then I can't put an I shape here. So this, if I think of it as a mound this shape, it's going to have to be here or here. Now this is a problem because we have orphan cells all over the place, so it would be like this. And this piece would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd have to have an N shape here. We'd have to have a C shape there. This piece now would go here, and we would not have enough spaces there. So this C shape cannot be the mound sort of thing. If I do it the other way around, this way doesn't work, we have orphan cells. This way here, once again, forces me to do that, and we don't have the right number of cells here. So yeah, this was correct right here. We have an I shape. We have T shapes here. I'm going to do it that way. I'm going to have a nice, good old F shape right there. What? T shape, L shape, and then P shape. So I believe this is our only method of solving this box. Now that we've done, so I think you're supposed to start here and work your way around clockwise, because the way I solved any of these sections is by, when I solved the first one, it disambiguates what you can do here. This disambiguated what you can do with the W, and so on and so forth. So this disambiguates what you do with the I. So the only way to solve this here was like so. Actually, it doesn't matter if it is the only way to solve it, so to speak, because this section doesn't affect anything but here. And now I know that the L touches this, so this is a C shape, and this is a P shape, and we're fine. So over here now I need to have this be not an L shape because there's a problem there. This has got to be a Y shape right here, which gives me a T shape there. Now in here I've got to fit 5 pieces, 2 L's. These L's can't touch, not going to reach. An F, and then 2 of something else. The question is, how is this F going to go? This is one way. This is the other way. I think that's it. So we've got to take those and that. So it's either going to be and that. So it's one of these two. So this L has to move out. And if it moves out like this, we're in trouble. So it's got to move out this way, forcing this to be the F shape. So this L now can't move up ever. So I think it's got to move. Yeah, this one's done. I've finished it. Right? Here's a T shape, and then here's a cross shape. Yeah. I like that one. That puzzle felt more like the difficulty curve, so here's my baseline. So we didn't have this. We also didn't really have that. We had this. This kind of felt like the whole way through was doing it. But in reality, it was just a bunch of these. Which is fine, because it means I have a lot of moments in there, but it was just a good puzzle. Legendary Artisan, adorn every window at jewels. I did it. I finished the game. That was really quick, those 2 puzzles. I was expecting those 2 when I looked at them to be monsters that I should save for the end, but whatever. They were good, but I still think the best, I can't tell just by looking. Where was the best one? This was one of the best. I remember really liking that puzzle. Not this one. Not that one, but there's one around here. Was it like hidden back here? It wasn't this. No, this was one of the best ones. This was one of the best puzzles in the game. Was it? There's somewhere like a hidden thing back there. I didn't remember. Wasn't anything that I marked with just the blue and the red with this 2 region type of stuff, because it seems like 50% of the puzzles in the game are that puzzle. Oh, it might have been the hidden one back here. This guy was really good. There was one up here, right? That was fine. That was fine. That was fine. A lot of these were just fine. That's the thing, it's just fine. It's also kind of hard to remember, like, there's just so many. So, like, I don't know if I'm going to do, like, a serious, like, sit down and review. I probably should, because it feels like I'm being very unfair to these devs. Not in the sense that they made a good game and I just don't appreciate it. I'm just being unfair because everything I've said has been off the top of my head. Like, I've had time to think, because I've played the game for 100+ hours. I've had time to think about everything that has gone wrong with this game and everything that has gone right. But at the same time, you are hearing my unfiltered thought as I play a puzzle, which to me does not constitute like a really good review of the game. It sure would give you an impression. Like, if you watched all of my videos, because you apparently have nothing better to do, and you note how I respond to the game, you can get a pretty good idea of whether you think it's a good game or not. But it still feels unfair because I don't get to polish that thought. But, like, I don't know if I just want to go to the trouble of it, because I've already spent way too long with this game. I have an extremely negative opinion of the developers of the game, as well as the game as a whole. Despite ending on a positive note, I ended on a puzzle that makes me feel good. I feel good when I uninstall the game. I can feel good about it. Even though, overall, I don't recommend this game. I don't recommend it because it's just a waste of your time. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of major problems with the game that could be overlooked if the game was shorter. Like, some of the problems with this game are only as irritating as they are because they keep happening. And they don't keep happening if the game is about half the size or a quarter of the size. I mean, it depends on what you need. Like, I know you're going to need a couple hundred tutorial puzzles. You need to have that in there. But did we really need 50 plus puzzles like this? Did we really need that? Of, okay, the rose window trick, you only have 2 regions. This is similar to a yin-yang puzzle, I think. Usually yin-yang puzzles also don't have 2 by 2 sections of the same region. Whatever, there's some, that's the one I just looked at. There's like a yin-yang type here somewhere. This is closer to it. That's not really it. But you know what I mean. Like, there's that puzzle type a lot. And when I see another variation of this puzzle type, it's not asking me to think of something new and original to solve the puzzle with. It's just asking me to do it again. And this time it's slightly harder, but it's just asking me to do it again. And if the game was 200 puzzles or 300 puzzles or 400 puzzles, which, by the way, is already a lot, then asking me to do the same thing twice isn't that big a deal. But when the game is 1,200 puzzles, in fact, I think 1,225 is the total number we end up with. When the game is 1,225 puzzles, asking me to do this again and again genuinely angers me. And not in the cute way that some puzzle games do where I'm just frustrated because the puzzle's hard. I'm just mad that you're wasting my time. And if I were a smarter person, I would have stopped playing. But I don't know. I guess I felt some sense of obligation to my hordes of adoring fans, which is a weird thing to feel because, like, I don't care that much. I shouldn't care that much. I'm just making videos I want to make, and if someone likes watching them, I really genuinely appreciate that you like watching them. And if you don't, that's fine. I'm not trying to be a big YouTuber. I hate that whole scene. I hate how most video game YouTubers that become famous end up just becoming advertisers for games. And I don't want to be that. I'm never in danger of being that. I'm not famous enough. But if suddenly 10,000 people subscribed, they would start expecting me to review the latest games coming out. And the game creators would start sending me their review copies, and they would expect me to be nice to them. That's just how human interaction works. If you personally sent me a game of yours, and you're like, try my game out, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll try your game out, I'm gonna feel like I'm obligated to be nice to you, not because of, like, some sort of sinister, like, ooh, the advertisers are in collusion with. It's just more like, that's just how human interaction works. We don't really want to be assholes to each other. Generally, most people aren't like that. So, you know, I'm just playing for fun for whatever I want to do, which is giving me the freedom to say, fuck these guys. Fuck them 96 Ways to Sunday. They have completely abused my trust in them, and I don't ever want to see another game by them. If I see a puzzle designer and I somehow recognize their name from this game, although I probably won't remember all their names, I'm going to be more hesitant to purchase that game. Like, it just has poisoned this developer for me, because the game was so over the top with its mistakes that I just am mad. That's my human response. My emotional, irrational human response is I'm angry. I'm angry even though no one forced me to play the game, right? No one forced me to do this. And I'm sure if I had abandoned this playthrough halfway through when I realized this game was going to suck, it took me half of the game to get to that point because I'm fucking stupid. But if I had realized that and said, you know what, I'm not going to finish this, either delete my entire playthrough or just abandon it, no one could stop me. I'm not really hurting anybody by doing that. I have, 50 subscribers? And that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean 50 fans. It just means 50 subscribers. I'm sure you are all very nice people, and I appreciate you, but none of your lives are ruined if I don't play this entire game. I don't know. Maybe it's just my mental disorder that I have in my head. It's not your problem. But I had to finish. I had to get through. I had to feel that if I did 100% of the game, I would have the most fair and objective opinion, right? If I only play 10% of a game, I say it sucks, and I leave a negative review saying it sucks, that's an asshole move. I want to give it a fair shot. but I feel somehow that by giving it the 100%, I can't possibly give this a fair shot now. I can't be fair and objective in this review because these people have pissed me off so much. I want nothing but destruction for them. I want nothing but horrible ruin. Thanks for making the game. Indie games are all good. I believe genuinely it's good for people to make games. Even if the games are terrible, just make the thing you want to make. But fuck these guys. You put 1,200 puzzles in a game and nobody questioned you? Nobody sat down with you at some point to say, that's too many. That's just too many. You cannot possibly make them all good. It's just not a possible thing to do. I admire your ambition. You want to make the puzzle game. I'm sure that's what's going on in the thoughts of the heads of the people making this. You don't put 1,200 puzzles in a game if you're just making a cute puzzle game to pass the time. You don't do that. You put 1,200 puzzles in a game when you genuinely think you have something important to provide that nobody else has. You don't put 1,200 puzzles in a game unless you think you are making the puzzle game to end puzzle games. You don't put 1,200 block-filling puzzles in a game unless you think you have the last word in those block-filling puzzles games. That doesn't happen unless you have that ambition. Because if you don't have that ambition, you say, I don't need 27 rule sets. I don't need this rule set. I don't need this rule set. I don't need whichever ones you get rid of. You don't need them all. You say, I don't need this puzzle type 75 times. I only need it 3 times. You cut stuff down. You say you don't need 37. You don't need a game that takes 150 hours to get 100% of the way through, right? I don't have any amount. The only game with more hours in it that is a puzzle game that I have is Islands of Insight, which has the same issues, but when I play that, it's just passing the time to me. Because that game was not meant to be 100%ed, because it was meant as an MMO, although it turned in, whatever. That game is too bad what happened to that game. But, you don't make a game this big unless you think you're important. It just doesn't happen. And it's not wrong to think you're important. I personally believe that every indie dev needs to have at least a little bit of arrogance. You need to have at least a little bit of just cocky, full of shit arrogance in order to make a game in the first place. But you also need to temper that. You need to have the arrogance because it will propel you to create and it will propel you to do your best. That's what that will do for you. But you also need to have some self-awareness to realize that level of arrogance you have as a dev and then temper it either with a lot of introspection or with a friend who hates you, the type of friend who tells you off when you're wrong. You need to have that person to say, all right, you've got the idea for the puzzle game to end all puzzle games. You're going to make that. That friend needs to come to you and say, here's the idea that doesn't work. Here's the idea that doesn't work. Here's the idea that doesn't work. Try again. I'm going to use my personal life here. So, me as a game dev is not real. I'm making a game, but who gives a crap? If it sells 5 copies, that's 500% more than I expect. I don't expect much from this. But I create other stuff. That's my thing. I'm actually a musician. My main channel is my music, which who gives a shit about that either. But I am currently working on a production that is supposed to be a real production, I say. It's getting productions in the next couple months, even from when I'm saying these words, which is extremely exciting. But in the course of this, I have made multiple drafts, rewrites of the show. I'm on the 3rd draft of the show. Songs have been completely cut from the show that I was working on that I was very proud of, but they're gone because they don't work in the show. So the writer said, I can't have this song here because it's just, and it wasn't like the writer saying to me, your song is bad, we're cutting it. The writer was saying, I wrote this scene, it has a song in it, the scene doesn't work, we're cutting the scene, the song also has to go. And my response was, dang, I like the song, but if it has to go, it has to go. So we cut it. That'd be like taking scissors to this bridge in the game and saying goodbye to all these puzzles. Goodbye, they're gone. And you know what? It's not personal. It isn't personal. If I say, this match section here, which is literally the worst thing I've seen in the entire universe, the biggest crime against humanity is this fucking section. This is awful. But it's not personal. I'm not cutting it because I'm going to the devs and saying, you suck personally. and you're bad at making things and you should feel bad, I say cut this because it will make your product better. And I say product here, but not in a cynical way of that games are just product to sell for consumers, but product in the sense that you are still creating something for someone else to purchase. You're still doing that. And we can try to decouple the whole capitalism whatever from it, but it's not going to happen in my lifetime. So like, if you're selling a game or even distributing for free, you're still making a product, whether or not you want to brand it as such, whether or not you want to like worry about the SEO and like, do we have the proper A and B testing? Who gives a shit? You're still making something. And to do your best, sometimes you have to cut stuff that isn't actually the worst thing ever. This is the worst thing ever, but I would also suggest getting rid of this shit. Bricky and loopy, they don't really do much for me. The puzzles tend to be the least interesting. There's too fucking many of them. They drag the game down, right? But it's not personal. I'm not saying if you thought of Bricky and Loopy, you're bad, or that every time you make a puzzle using that, you're committing some crime against me. It's not personal. It's professional in the sense of if you want this to be a professional experience, a good experience, you have to cut that stuff. I have to cut the scene that I wrote with XYZ or the song that I wrote with this, or, you know, we're on draft 3 or 4 or 5 of the show and the producer comes to us or the director comes to us and says, this isn't working for me. If I sit on my high horse and say, well, I'm the artist and I'm really smart and I know what I'm doing, the director, you know, they might bend to my will. They might say, okay, fine, I'll do what you say, because they don't want to have an argument. And they just do it. And then the show flops and it's my fault because I put some stupid thing in that no one likes, right? And, but what I do instead is I say, okay, I might be a smart cookie, but my director is, my producer is, my co-writer is, the audience sometimes is, the actors in the play are smart, the musicians in the play are playing it, the stagehands, all these people also have an opinion of the art, and if they come to me with an issue, I listen to that. Like, I might not ultimately agree, I might not ultimately do what they tell me to do, but I listen to those types of concerns because I want to do the best thing that I can. So I have experience there, not so much the video games aspect of it, because the one game I make, it's just my product, and I don't really have a lot of people helping me out with it. So, you know, if it's got mistakes in it, it could be that no one told me until it was too late. But I do have experience with putting something together, and it's a similar bag. This game needed somebody to tell them, cut it. Cut it all. It needed that. And I feel like the irony of this is I've now spent 20 minutes explaining something which probably could have taken 10 seconds to explain. So if anyone needs to learn that lesson, it's me. Someone should have come up to me and said, Kiev W., your complaint about this game takes 10 seconds to deliver and you just spent 20 minutes on it. You should probably cut that, right? Of course, it's a rant. It's not scripted. If I scripted it, I would cut it down. Where was I? What am I even doing? What am I even doing here? I'm just complaining about bullshit, but it's something that angers me because I see a product, again, I'm going to use the word product. I see a product that could have delivered and been very, very good, and I see it stumble and fall in entirely predictable ways that anyone would have noticed. Anyone would have noticed this. It doesn't take a genius. I'm not saying I noticed this problem because I am so good at game design, and if these people had only consulted me. If they'd consulted anyone would have told you, don't do this. Like, if I make a movie and it's 8 hours long, anyone would tell me, don't do this. I don't care about your artistic vision. Don't do this. If I write a novel and it's 20,000 words, it's not 20,000, 20 million words. 20,000 words would be really short. I meant to say 20 million, but I'm stupid. If I made a 20 million word novel, everyone would say, don't do this. Like, I mean, 20 million words, at that point, I would make a series of novels, right? If you have an 8-hour movie, you make a series of movies, or you make a TV show, right? There's ways to get around these types of limitations. Or if I'm a cook and I make you 17 pounds of spaghetti, anyone would tell you, don't do that, right? No one's eating 17 pounds of spaghetti. No one's sitting down for an 8-hour movie watch, right? Except diehard fans, which you're not going to have many. No one's sitting down for to read 20 million words of a book. First of all, that book's too big to pick up. That kind of stuff. Anyone would see that. And that's what makes me mad, because this game could have been better. It could have easily been better. It wasn't like they needed to do something difficult. They just needed to not do a thing they did, which was very easy to not do. And that, like, if the game was just bad all the way through, who cares if they screwed that up? Because they can't fix the game, right? If this game was just bad all the way through, didn't have a single good puzzle, everything sucked, and the game killed my dog, then cutting it down doesn't fix anything. But this game, cutting it down fixes stuff, god damn it. Cutting it down to 200, 300, 400, even 500 puzzles. I wouldn't go much higher than that, because the puzzles, especially the later ones, take so long to solve. Cutting it down that far probably just completely fixes the game 100%. Nothing else needs to be done to it. Even though I have lots of other gripes with this game, cutting it down would erase all of them. All of them completely wiped off the slate. And now I'm just getting myself into a fervor. No one's watching. Who's watching at this point? Raise your hand if you're still watching me rant. Keep your hands raised until I've counted all of you. But that is frustrating to see that this is the second game by these devs. The second game that has a glaringly obvious problem that could have been told to them 2 seconds after the game pitch. 2 seconds after the game pitch. And in both cases, the dev pushed forward saying, fuck you, I know better than you, this is my artistic vision. And in both cases, the game turned out sloppy, bloated, unrefined, mistake-prone, full of frustration, full of elements that were unnecessary, a slog to get through. Both times. And both times the developers have been told at some point, usually after the game is released, you should not have done this. Islands of Insight, they were told you should not have made an MMO puzzle game. I applaud your ambition. You should not have done that. And they've said, okay, fine, we'll make it offline single player only, but we're not going to take to heart the message that you were imparting. We're just going to reinterpret it as we don't like MMOs. So we're going to make our next game not an MMO, but we're going to make it just as big, right? It's not just as big. It's 5% the size of Islands of Insight. That's still too large. Anyone could have said that. And it's just, after 2 of this, after playing Islands of Insight and this, I'm out of patience. I suppose this dev will want to make a 3rd game, and I believe in my heart the dev is going to have a bad idea, is not going to listen to any criticism of that idea should it arise, will never have any introspection of whether that idea is good as it is, will press on, will make a game that's bloated, messy, a slog to get through, full of errors like the type we've seen here, and at some point everyone's just going to run out of faith in them. That's just what's going to happen. That's my prediction. It would be really nice if that prediction doesn't come true. It would be really, really nice if this dev, after these 2 games, goes, okay, we've made 2 little fun things. Now let's get it together. Let's make something that's stable, small, works. Every single puzzle is the best thing we can do, rather than a bunch of bullcrap like this shit. Maybe they get it together, but I just don't believe in them anymore. I just do not believe in them to do that. So, like, I don't think that it's wrong for them to have made games. Ultimately, it is good to make games. Ultimately, it is good that these people made a work of art, produced a work of art, put it on the store for me to spend 20 genuine Canadian dollars on. That's a good thing. But that's the only thing good about it, was that they made art. And that, to me, is a pretty weak justification. And I'm going to leave it there. And if I want to make a full review that's more professional, I will, just for people to make. I don't think anyone needs to watch 110 whatever videos to figure out. And some of these videos I've made are just genuinely awful. I just hated every second of it. So I'm very sorry to anyone who had to sit through that, what I made you sit through. I forced you to sit through it. But that's where I'm going to leave it. Some good puzzles, not good game. And it's a shame. Oh well. I'm probably going to take a break, actually. So, whatever. I'm sorry to both of my fans. But, like, this really has taken a lot of the fun out of just life for me, this game has. Like, I genuinely would feel bad. I would play this game and then feel bad for the entire day. It's so weird. Like, it's clearly my fault. It's clearly my problem. I'm getting too emotionally invested. I am not strong enough. But I would play and then just feel bad because I played a bad game and I did it out of a sense of duty, which made me feel even worse because it's not like if I was a YouTuber with 27 million followers with a Patreon making 38 million bucks a day, whatever, and I had some expectations, people were looking to that, they were paying me money to do this, then yeah, I would feel a sense of duty is appropriate. But like, I make these videos just for my own channel because I apparently have brain rot. I have nothing better to do with my life. And if people like it, that's great. And if people don't, that's also great. I'm not trying to make a living on this. So a sense of duty feels really out of place, but I felt it anyway. I felt the sense I had to finish. And so every day when I was going to record, I'd get up feeling like, oh shit, I have to record this fucking game again. And I'd start playing and I'd play some bullshit puzzle. Not that one. That one's fine. I keep on using this one. It's in my face, but really this is the worst puzzle. I'd keep playing shit like this and getting angrier and angrier, thinking, I don't have to be here. Why am I making myself do this? I must be the dumbest person alive. And it's true. I must be the dumbest person alive. I'd finish, I'd stop recording, and the entire rest of the day, I'd just feel like crap. And I'd be like, why do I feel like crap the whole rest of the day? It's because I'm putting myself through this garbage. So, no, I'm taking a break from recording some stuff. I know there's 2 series I was working on that I need to finish. I haven't played in months because this game has taken all that time. And I didn't want it to take that much time. It's 120 hours. I wish it was 20 hours, but whatever. I'll get back to those eventually once I work up the drive to play games again. But I'm not going to record anything for a while. I want to get the joy of video games back. It's going to take a bit for me to do that. This game really has sucked the fun out of games for me. Certainly hasn't sucked the fun out of ranting incoherently online to my rabble of fans. It certainly hasn't taken the fun out of that. But that's where we are. So, anyway, if you are a big fan of mine, thanks, I guess. But you're gonna have to wait for more content because I just need to step away for a bit. I also am resolving to myself not to do blind playthroughs again, or at least to take more care. Because the whole idea with this is it was a blind playthrough. I purchased the game the day it came out, and I just started. I just went for it. And it ended up being a horrible experience. So now I'm thinking I'm only going to record games I already know something about. Because even if the game isn't good, I go into it with a different expectation. Because I might record some bad games just to show you bad games. Because, like, that could be fun. But if I'm going to do a blind playthrough ever, it's going to be a game that I've researched more heavily. It's going to be a game from a developer I trust. Or it's going to be a very short experience. Because I don't ever want to have this happen again where I end up, you know, knee-deep in 100 videos of something that just genuinely sucks ass to play. Because it's not fun for me. It's probably not fun for you unless you enjoy old person ranting about video games, because that's what's happening here. I don't know, I just feel uncomfortable putting this much negativity into the world, because this is nearly 100 videos of negativity about a single game. Nobody should be thinking about this game as much as I have. So yeah, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to come back and do something. I'm going to finish up Gemcraft, which, you know, is not the greatest game ever, but I enjoy it, and it's a fun little thing. I should finish off Islands of Insight, because that way there's somebody online who's recorded 100% of the game. And eventually start something new, something smaller. And we'll see what it is when I get there, but it's going to be a while. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Artisans of Glimmith. I've put the link to purchasing it if you really want to try it, but I don't recommend this game. Have yourselves a good one. Goodbye.